What is going on, YouTube? It's Matt Faircloth. Thank you for watching Mentorship Monday. My name is Matt. My company is the DeRosa Group, and if you want to hear more about what we're doing, you can go to DeRosaGroup.com. That is DeRosa, D-E-R-O-S-A Group.com, and you can pick up a copy of my book, Raising Private Capital, put on by Bigger Pockets while you're out there as well. Mentorship Monday works like this. People email in their questions to helpme@DeRosaGroup.com. That is helpme@DeRosaGroup.com, and I will answer your question right here on the YouTube channel for you and everybody else to learn from. And by the way, we have a new series called DeRosa Success Stories. All you got to do for that is, if you've learned something from my book, Raising Private Capital, or from this YouTube channel, you want to just email your story of success to success@DeRosaGroup.com. That is success@DeRosaGroup.com. And you may get a chance to be on this YouTube channel and get an interview with me, and we'll talk about the success you've had, and you'll get broadcast and get some notoriety and everything like that. And we'll also get to put out what you're learning from us for your business out here for you and everybody else to experience as well. So that is success@DeRosaGroup.com if you want to submit a success story. Now, today's Mentorship Monday question comes from Ian. Thank you, Ian, for your Mentorship Monday question. Hi, Matt. My name is Ian. I'm 28 years old. I'm from California. This is my first time stepping into real estate. Okay, note that. First time investor. All right. I recently emailed an agent about seller financing on a deal I saw in a package of about 11 properties, 10 of which were cash flowing in Pennsylvania. First time investing, looking at 11 properties, owner financing. You are stretching, Ian, and I love that. I love that about you. Just a lot of things come up. First of all, you're from California. You're looking to invest in Pennsylvania. You're a new investor. Just be careful. There's a lot going on here already. This is already a hairy deal, but just you wait. There's more. So I guessing so. When I asked about when I was speaking to the agent, I asked about the terms, and the agent used the word negotiate several times during the conversation, which makes me think the seller is probably motivated. Good listening to language there, Ian. I like it. I was also able to see that the properties were up for sale, had been listed for over 700 days. Guys, that is 2 years. These properties have been on the market, okay? The agent did provide me with a spreadsheet of financials, but they only gave me rents, taxes, and assessment, and a list price. So they didn't give me anything. I mean, what the rents are, maybe we can get that off a rent-o-meter. That's not really, it's very easy to figure out. The taxes, that's online, that's public data. Assessment, that's also public information. And the list price, they really gave you nothing, okay? They didn't give you anything on expenses, anything on maintenance, anything on insurance, whether or not the properties are in a floodplain. They really told you nothing. They gave you a price and an address. So with all that said, I have 2 questions for you, okay? And we'll address a lot of stuff that came up for me when I read the other parts of this question. Number 1, what kinds of questions would you ask the agent before negotiating a deal like this to determine if you even want to enter it? Okay, let's unpack that question first, okay? Because that really addresses a lot of everything else that I have here. Just first of all, you need a profit and loss statement. You need to see what their rents were, what their vacancies were, and this has to be a real P&L. And if you want to get real, hardcore with them, you ask the owner to sign it. Okay, so print me out a P&L, and as the owner, to just sign it and certify that everything in there is true. Okay, and they're really verifying that what they're telling you is true about these properties. Okay, so what the expenses are, what the income and expense are, and what the cash flow is, and everything like that. All that aside, there's a simple fact here that I just glazed over, and that is these properties have been on the market for 2 years. In this crazy real estate economy we have going on right now, with lots of properties selling, lots of properties getting bidded up and everything like that, and things going way, way, way up on price, the fact of the matter is that this portfolio of 11 properties with owner financing is still out there, right? That's something's something's not right. Not to be like a doubter, but something's not right with that. And I would ask the agent straight up, listen, these properties, just tell them straight out, these properties have been on the market for 2 years. It is hard to believe that in this economy of rising property values that these properties have been out there for 2 years. So tell me, agent, let's save time for both of us here. Tell me what's wrong. What's wrong? Are there underground oil tanks? Is the seller unreasonable on price? Are the properties all vacant? What's the matter with these properties that I need to figure out? Because I want to figure out the problem, so that I can make a deal. Again, I've heard it said on, including the Bigger Pockets podcast, that good deals are not found, good deals are made, which means you got to go into a deal with a problem, figure out the problem, and make it a good deal. So tell that agent, whatever it is, I'm gonna figure it out. And so I'm gonna waste everybody's time, and then I figure out the problem, and then I'm gonna have to back out of the deal. So just tell me what the problems are now, and I'll help you figure out those problems so that we can close together and get a deal done, right? So enroll the agent in telling you everything there is to know about the property so that you can make a fair assessment, right? If they try and roadblock you and say, well, you'll have to figure that out on your own, or I can't tell you, or there's nothing wrong, or whatever it is, you might not have a cooperative agent, and then it might be worth just sending in a very low offer that's maybe 50% of what the property would be worth if it were healthy, and see if they'll bite. And if they bite, then you can go in and do more due diligence and figure out the problem. Okay. So those two questions, full financial package, and then just straight up ask them what's wrong. Okay, and tread lightly. Oh, and by the way, because you're doing owner financing, make sure that you still treat the property as if it were bank finance. So get environmental reviews, because a bank is going to want to review to make sure that there's no underground storage tanks, which in California you might not see too many underground tanks, but in Pennsylvania it's very common to have underground oil tanks. That is an enormous thing that could be a problem at these properties. If that exists, then there's a chance that they leaked, and there's a chance that you have an environmental hazard, and that has to get remediated before you close. Okay. A bank is going to do the due diligence to make sure that that's not there. If the seller is holding paper and holding financing for you, which I'm just sitting here talking and realizing that's probably why they're doing it, is because you might not be able to get bank financing. So bet me 10 cents these properties have. I'll bet you one of these properties has an environmental issue, and that's why they're holding paper. I'm getting ahead of myself, but maybe that's true. Anyway, so that you'll figure all that out. But those are your two questions: what's wrong and P&L. So it's funny, I'm just sitting here thinking it out while we're talking. Okay, number two of your question, Ian. If I did enter the deal, in your experience, would it be possible for me to refinance out of the seller financing loan with a bank loan and bring all those properties into one loan? Of course. So short answer to your question, yes, you can do that. But again, you want to treat these properties as if they were bank financed on the day one, right? So get an appraisal, get an environmental review. You don't want to do something called a phase one environmental analysis. You don't want to do that because that is something that's super expensive and will cost you thousands of dollars per address, and it's typically done on commercial properties only. But you can call an environmental consultant and have them do a overview of all the properties and maybe do a site inspection, but not a full phase one. Okay, a bank will likely do that. Maybe even call a local bank and say, what would you do with these properties if you were going to finance them, and then do all that stuff, on your own. And then when you go back to take it to a bank, you've already got all that done. But absolutely, you can refinance out of seller financing into a bank. Just make sure the seller financing doesn't have anything like prepayment penalties or anything like that. So bottom line, Ian, being a brand new investor, this deal has a lot of hair on it, but deals with hair are the most lucrative ones. It's always been the case. And that the ones that have things you got to figure out, or things that have to get solved or whatever, are the ones that you're going to get the best price on. Okay, so best of luck to you, Ian. Please, I'm actually curious enough that I'd love to hear how this goes. And maybe we can even have you on DeRosa's success stories, because the audience probably is curious enough to see where this goes here. So if you end up taking it down, send an email to success@DeRosaGroup.com so we can talk about it further. So that's what I got, guys. Thank you. Don't forget to check us out at DeRosaGroup.com and hear more about what we're up to. I appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you, Ian, and have a great and profitable week.